Good afternoon and welcome once again. My name is John. This is Orphan Car Garage. This is our YouTube channel. We're located in Abington, Massachusetts, which is about 30 minutes south of Boston. So the car here in front of us is a little bit different than what I usually profile. And if you've been following me for very long, you probably get the fact that I like weird, different, quirky, underappreciated orphans. This car is a little different from that. And it was quite apparent when I posted a teaser to it on my Facebook page last week. The amount of likes and loves and comments I got on this car was unbelievable. And I realized pretty quickly the reason for that is that this car appeals to a much larger audience than what I usually profile. So that being said, without any further ado, we're going to get right into this car. Obviously, this is a Chevy Monte Carlo. This is a Monte Carlo from the second generation of Monte Carlos, which started in 1973. First generation was 1970 to 1972. 1973, the car borrowed the new to GM Colonnade body style, which is basically that hardtop design with that Landau window. Gone was the two-door hardtop style. This car was a direct competitor against Ford's Thunderbird, and it was a hit right out of the box. I think they sold 3-1 over the Thunderbird, which made John DeLorean over at Chevrolet very happy. He loved the Monte Carlo. So this car here in front of us is the last year for that second generation. This is a 1977. 1973 to 1977 saw very little changes. The most noticeable changes in the front end. 1976 saw a slight refresh on the front end with those 4 stacked square headlights and a revised grille and a stand-up hood ornament. But other than that, and maybe some taillight design, this car is really unchanged from 1973 to 1977, but there was really no need to change it because it was an incredible success. And I mean, in 1977 alone, I think Chevrolet sold an outstanding amount of these cars, and 477,000, I believe, cars, Chevy Monte Carlos being sold in 1977 alone, which was the last year for this body style, which normally would kind of fallen out of favor by then. Of course, 1978 saw that dramatic downsizing into the G body that went right into the late 1980s. But to find a clean second generation Monte Carlo these days is very difficult. I went to high school in the mid 1980s, and this was kind of the car of choice for kids that I went to high school with. So that kind of lends to the fact that these cars kind of got dried up because a lot of high school kids got a hold of them. And I know friends of mine that had cars like this really beat the crap out of them. So most of them ended up in salvage yards and demolition derbies. Up here in New England, the tin worm got a hold of them, and they got rusty and unsafe and thrown away. It's just now that they're coming into vogue because those kids that I went to high school with are now old enough to buy themselves a fun car, and they want the cars they remember. They don't want a 1947 DeSoto. They want a 1977 Monte Carlo because that's what they had, or their parents had, or their friends had in high school. So the popularity of these cars has really gone through the roof, much like many other cars from this vintage. So this particular car here in front of us is not a perfect 100% show car, but as you can see, very presentable, very turnkey, nice driver to have a lot of fun with and turn a lot of heads. Beautiful repaint of the sterling silver color, very nicely done paint job. You can't get a car painted today for less than $10,000 with any kind of quality to it. This car has had a very nice paint job, correct factory style red pinstripes. We sourced these 15x8 Chevy Rally wheels, which were a must for this car. These cars need these wheels in my estimation. When we got the car, it had a very inexpensive set of American racing wheels on it, which just did not do the car justice. It was screaming for these rally wheels. Just look at that. Wheels make or break any car. I say it all the time. We put brand new tires on it. We changed the oil and checked the fluids and went through the whole car top to bottom. It was in very good mechanical shape to begin with. This car is equipped with a 305 5-liter V8. In 1977, you could get 2 engines. It was the height of the Malaise era, not a very exciting time for performance. The base engine, which this car has, the 305 V8, put out a whopping 145 or so horsepower, or you could also jump up to the 350. The 400 was gone by 1977. Its last year was 1976 as an option. So 145 horsepower in this 4,000 pound car. I mean, I think a new Civic has more horsepower than that. But I will tell you, I've driven this car quite a bit, and that little 305 moves this car very, very nicely. And some of it may have to do with the fact that the catalytic converter was removed. So if you live in California, you probably can't buy this car because it probably won't pass smog. So the catalytic converter was removed and a nice breathable set of dual exhausts with a nice little rumble was installed in place of that factory exhaust system, which was probably a single exhaust. There's your dual exhaust there. Car has a nice little rumble to it. Again, very, very presentable car, and a great color combination of the silver with the red interior. We're going to get to that now. This is really the crown jewel of the car to me. Every Monte Carlo needs this. Swivel bucket seats. Before we get to the swivel portion, I'll show you the back seat. Back seat of the car is in phenomenal condition, almost like nobody's been there. A couple speaker grills cut into the back shelf, which is, I guess, no real big deal. Nice side bolster panels. This red just didn't hold up well, generally speaking. It's an original cover on this passenger side seat, and I'm going to demonstrate the swivel here in a second. The driver's side, I believe, has been recovered, sort of an amateurish way, and we'll get to that also. I sourced these red GM floor mats, which would have been correct for 1977. I also want to point out that this car has very nice door panels. Generally speaking, this red plastic faded to white and cracked over time. GM cars of this era. Nice bolster, almost looks brand new. You'll notice it says Landau. We'll get to that in a second as well. Everybody has an ashtray. Power windows. I was amazed how many of these cars did not come equipped with power windows. When I did a Google search, this car has them and they work perfectly. So again, the crown jewel of this car is the swivel bucket seats, which I think every Monte Carlo should have. Get in it, pull the lever. Easy exit. Look at that. Just amazing. This option was available on a lot of the GM cars, the Colonnade cars in the 1970s. I know I had a neighbor with a Cutlass Supreme that had them, and I thought they were so odd. Let me get back in it. All you need to do to slide it back to place is with your body weight, slide the seat back, snaps into place, and you're done. Also, console shifted automatic transmission. How cool is that? Car's equipped with a factory AM/FM 8-track player, which does not operate, air conditioning, and a gauge package, which I'll get to when I go to the other side. The dashboard's not in bad shape, but there are some cracks. There's a couple cracks up there on the dashboard. Very difficult to find these cars without those cracks. There are repair kits available online. I started watching a YouTube video on how to do it. I don't have the patience for it. It's going to take somebody with patience and time to repair them, but they can be repaired if you were so inclined. But it's little details like that that's going to keep this car in the affordable range. Just keep that in mind as we go around. Little hole in the headliner that someone crudely repaired with red duct tape. Little religious symbol there, probably from the original owner. But other than that hole there over the visor, the headliner is in really good condition. So maybe there was something there on the visor that poked into the headliner at one point. Again, a repairable item if you so inclined. Carpeting is like brand new. It's probably been replaced. So again, the door says Landau. This car was a Landau. This car came from the factory with a Landau roof, and that vinyl molding there is a general giveaway of that too. You probably already picked up on that if you're an aficionado. I truly believe that the gentleman that painted this car, had this car painted, wanted the slick top look. The hard top, especially on this side, is in absolutely beautiful condition and shows no sign of any previous body work. Just really, really nice. I truly believe he wanted a slick top look. I personally probably would have left the red vinyl Landau roof, but given that it's a silver car with red interior, I don't think it does the car any injustice not to have it. So I think it looks sharp. And slick top is kind of the look right now. We'll go around to the other side. Very, very nice bumpers and bezels and trim, no cracks, no major crazing. Everything works on this car other than that AM/FM 8-track player. Remote control sport mirrors. There is a little pop here on the roof. right there. And I truly don't believe that that's caused from the vinyl roof. I believe there's a lead weld there from the factory where the quarter panel meets the roof panel. I've run into that a lot on late 60s and 70s GM products where the lead weld actually pops. Maybe somebody can correct me on that, but I believe this is where the seam is for the quarter panel to the roof panel from the factory. And it's not uncommon to see this pop. If this was really a sticking point for a potential buyer, I can have that repaired. But again, it's things like this that are going to keep this car affordable. So keep that in mind. If this car was a 100-point show car, it would be probably out of the realm for most people to be able to afford. And everything that's wrong with it is really minor. Here's the driver's side. Again, that door panel, just as good as the passenger side. There's your power window controls. Now, this driver's seat, if you look at it closely, it doesn't quite match the passenger side. It's a shade or two off. Somebody recovered that seat with the correct cover, the correct material, but a shade off, and didn't do the greatest job. I think they probably didn't replace the foam underneath, and probably should have, because it's a little bit loose fitting. A very presentable, but if you're a real fuss budget, you might want to have that redone. The back seat again in beautiful shape. Those GM floor mats. Let me get inside and show you another feature of the car. These really cool gauges. Most of these came with idiot lights. This car has a gauge package and even has a fuel economy gauge. Look at that. Kind of interesting. Odometer shows 36,681 miles. Anyone's guess. Is it original? Probably not, but could be. If it's not original, the car's been incredibly well maintained and babied and probably garaged. So it's up to the next owner to decide. I don't have any documentation or proof on mileage. All I can tell you is it shows 36,681, but I make no claims one way or the other. You decide. There are many features in this car that lead me to believe that that could be original, and there's other features that kind of lead me to believe that maybe it's not. But again, in the eyes of the beholder, this car runs extremely well. I'm going to show you the engine now, because I always get beat up for not showing the engine. Very clean, well sorted engine bay. There we go. Very clean, well sorted engine bay. The original catalyst sticker still there like new. The original Delco AC compressor. Looks like a World War II bomb. Just really, really nice shape. A little bit of the stuffing from the original hood insulator kind of shredding down onto, leaving little shards on the top of the air cleaner. No big deal. But as you can see, very, very clean, very well sorted, very factory correct engine bay. Nothing to be ashamed of, nothing that needs immediate maintenance. Everything on this car has been checked over. Just get in it, turn the key, and drive. So, last year, 1977, full-size Chevy Monte Carlo, rarely seen today, in the best color combination possible. Silver with red. Red swivel bucket seats, power windows, air conditioning, rear defogger, swivel seats, sport mirrors, rally wheels. The list goes on and on. The price, you say? Orphan Car Garage, $11,900. If this car was a 100% show car, that one would be a 2. This is not a $21,000 car. It's an $11,900 car. Give me a call. Let me know what you think. I can offer transport to anywhere in the world. Very, very simply done. I can provide any more pictures that any potential buyers want to see. I have undercarriage pictures. The undercarriage on this car is as clean as the top surfaces of this car. Trunk as well. I have pictures of everything. I can do a driving video, a running video, whatever you'd like to see. Fully transparent here. I don't want anybody disappointed in a purchase. Give me a call, 508-954-8090. Find me on the web, orphancargarage.com. Check out my Google reviews. They're all fantastic. Find me on Facebook, like me there. And of course, subscribe to me here on YouTube. It's getting a little cold. My fingers are getting a little numb. I'm getting a little hungry. Gonna go and eat some lunch. Stay tuned. We've got more fun stuff coming up, especially as spring approaches. I've been collecting a lot of cool stuff for you guys. So stay tuned. You're gonna like what you see. Thank you.